Level 1, the precision driver. You show up to a massive studio lot in Burbank on a Tuesday morning at 4:30 a.m. The sky is still completely pitch black and the air smells like diesel exhaust and damp asphalt. The security guard at the gate doesn't look at you, he just checks your name off a clipboard and points toward a dirt lot. 2 miles away, you park your beat-up Honda Civic next to a row of massive white trailers and walk toward a pop-up tent illuminated by a single harsh work light. You are 21 years old or maybe 28. It doesn't matter, you have a clean driving record. You know how to drive a manual transmission, and you told a guy who told a guy that you want to be in the movies. You are a precision driver, a background driver, a piece of moving scenery. Your job is to drive a generic four-door sedan back and forth down a blocked-off street in downtown LA. While the actual famous people film a scene on the sidewalk, they hand you a walkie-talkie and stick you in a 2012 Ford Fusion. You sit there for 3 hours. The engine is off because they need quiet on set. You are freezing, you drink terrible coffee out of a styrofoam cup. A voice cracks over the walkie, telling you to move to your starting mark. You start the car, you wait another 40 minutes, then a voice yells background action, and you drive exactly 15 miles per hour down the street, maintaining a perfect 3-car distance from the minivan in front of you. You brake at the stop sign. You wait, you hear cut, you reverse the car back to the exact spot you started in, and you do it again. You do this 45 times in a 14-hour day. Your lower back is screaming, your eyes are heavy, you are making barely above minimum wage, and you are not in the union yet. You are an extra with a steering wheel. The actors don't look at you, the director doesn't know you exist, but you are on a Hollywood set. You watch the real stunt drivers, the guys in the fire retardant Nomex suits, laughing near the catering truck. You stare at them the way a minor league player stares at the major leagues. You tell yourself that is going to be you. You don't know how yet, but you are going to get out of this Ford Fusion Level 2, the non-union hustler. You figured out that driving slowly in the background isn't going to get you a stunt reel, so you start taking the dirty jobs, the low-budget indie films, the student projects, the sketchy non-union gigs, shooting out in the desert in Palmdale or Lancaster, where permits are treated as mere suggestions. You are desperate for footage to put on your demo reel. You will do absolutely anything. If they roll a camera, you show up to a dry lake bed where a 24-year-old director with a maxed-out credit card asks you to do a J-turn and smash a rusted-out Camaro into a stack of empty water barrels. There is no stunt coordinator, there is no safety meeting, there is no medic on standby, there's just you, a helmet you bought off Craigslist, and a prayer. You hit the gas, you pull the emergency brake, the car spins. Violently, the desert dust blinds you and you slam into the barrels. The impact rattles your teeth, the steering column punches your ribs, the airbag deployed, but it was old and hit you like a cinder. Block, you crawl out, coughing, tasting dirt and copper in your mouth. The director yells that it looked awesome. You don't get paid a daily rate, you get a flat $200 and a promise that they will send you the footage they never send, the footage you spend the next 2 years hustling, going to stunt gyms in the valley, learning how to fall downstairs, how to throw a fake punch, how to catch on fire, because you realize that to be a stunt driver, you have to be a stunt performer. First, you live in a tiny apartment in North Hollywood with 3 other guys trying to break into the industry. Your diet is ramen, noodles and energy drinks. Your body is covered in bruises. You can't explain. Your parents ask you when you are going to give up this ridiculous hobby and get a job that pays health insurance. You ignore their calls. You are building a resume of pain. You mail your burned DVDs and flash drives to every stunt coordinator in the directory. Most of them end up in the trash. One of them doesn't. Level 3, the union stunt driver. You get the call, you got your SAG-AFTRA vouchers, and you are officially in the union, the Screen Actors Guild. The card arrives in the mail, and you hold it like it's a winning lottery ticket. The economics of your life change overnight. Your day rate jumps to over $1,000 a day, plus residuals, plus overtime, plus meal penalties. You are finally making a living doing ND stunts, nondescript stunts. You don't play a specific character. You play cop number 3, or fleeing civilian, or getaway driver. You report to base camp and go to wardrobe. They put you in a cheap polyester police uniform. You go to the transpo department and climb into an intercepted Ford Explorer, outfitted with a roll cage, painted like an LAPD cruiser. The stunt coordinator comes over the radio. This is the big leagues now. Safety is a religion. There are ambulances parked 50 yards away. There are cameras mounted on massive Russian arm cranes chasing you. The sequence is a high-speed pursuit through the port of Los Angeles. Coordinator tells you exactly what to do. I need you to come hot around the corner of Warehouse 4. Hit the brakes, induce an understeer, and clip the stack of cardboard boxes, then spin out and stall. You do the math in your head. Grip, speed, trajectory. You hit the gas, the V6 engine screams. You pitch the SUV sideways. The tires howl against the concrete. You feel the rear end break loose. You catch the slide perfectly, smash the boxes exactly on your mark, and stall the engine right in front of camera A. The radio goes quiet. Then the coordinator says, "Good job, copy that. Resetting for take 2. You exhale. You did it. You are a professional, but the job is 90% waiting. You sit in your trailer or on a folding chair near the craft service table for 11 hours, reading paperbacks, scrolling your phone, waiting for a scene that will take 40 seconds to shoot you. Learn that stunts are not about adrenaline. They are about patience. They are about holding your absolute maximum mental focus in reserve for 10 hours and then deploying it perfectly on a moment's notice. Because if you miss your mark by 2 feet, you ruin a take that cost $100,000 to set up and you don't get called back for the next movie. Level 4, the core team driver. You've been in the union for 5 years. You have a reputation now. Coordinators don't just call you to fill a seat, they request you specifically. You are part of the core team, the tight-knit group of 5 or 6 drivers who handle the heavy lifting on major blockbuster films, the Fast and Furious ripoffs, the Marvel movies, the massive action franchises. Your skills have to be terrifyingly precise. You are doing proximity driving, driving at 80 miles per hour, inches away from other cars, inches away from a camera lens that costs more than a house, inches away from a camera operator, hanging off a pursuit vehicle. You learn to completely detach your brain from fear. Your survival instinct screams at you to hit the brakes. You train your right foot to stay flat on the floor. You are driving a modified muscle car through a tunnel, weaving through traffic. The lead actor is in the car next to you on a pod rig where another driver is actually steering from the roof while the actor pretends to drive inside. You have to slide your car within a razor's edge of the lead actor's door without touching it. If you touch it, you don't just damage a car, you could injure the $20 million star of the movie and shut down a $200 million production. Your hands are taped, your steering wheel is wrapped in suede. For grip, you wear a fire-resistant Nomex suit that traps your body heat, making you sweat buckets. In the claustrophobic cabin, you do. The run, you slide the car, you feel the heat of the exhaust from the camera car washing over your windshield. It is a ballet of 2-ton metal machines. Choreographed down to the millimeter, the trust between you and the other core drivers is absolute. You know exactly how the guy to your left brakes. You know the exact reaction time of the guy to your right. You trust them with your life and they trust you with theirs. Your bank account looks great. You bought a house in Santa Clarita. You have a boat. You have a truck. But you also have a chiropractor, a physical therapist, and a massage therapist on speed dial. The cumulative impact of aggressive driving, the constant G-forces, the jarring stops. Your neck is permanently stiff. Your lower lumbar spine is compressed. You are 32 years old and you take ibuprofen like Tic Tacs, but you don't care because you are doing what you love and you are getting paid to do it. Level 5. The specialist. You have leveled up again. You aren't just driving, you are crashing. You are the specialist, the guy they call when a car needs to leave the ground and not come back. You specialize in pipe ramps, nitrogen, cannons, and barrel rolls. This is the dark art of the stunt driving world. It requires a mastery of physics and a total disregard for human comfort. You are on the set of an action movie, shooting out the Mojave Desert. The shot calls for a vehicle to hit a landmine and flip 5 times through the air. The special effects team has built a nitrogen cannon into the floor of your vehicle. Essentially, massive pressurized piston pointing at the ground. When you hit the exact right mark, you push a button. The piston fires against the asphalt, launching the car into the sky. You wear a 5-point racing harness, a hands device strapped to your helmet to keep your neck from snapping, and custom molded earplugs. You are strapped in so tightly you can barely breathe. You wait for the cue, the assistant. Director calls action, you floor it. You hit 70 miles per hour. The mark approaches. It's a small piece of orange tape. On the road, you hit it. You punch the button. The explosion is deafening. The world instantly turns upside down. Sky dirt, sky dirt, sky dirt. The violent kinetic energy tears through the chassis. The roof crushes. The windows shatter. Metal screams. You spin in the air. The G-forces pulling the blood out of your head. The car hits the dirt, hard bounces, and rolls 3 more times before coming to a stop upside down. You are hanging from your straps. The dust is choking you. You smell leaking coolant and hot oil. The safety crew sprints toward the car with fire extinguishers. They pry the door open. You give them a thumbs up. The crew cheers. The director is ecstatic. You unbuckle and fall to the roof, crawl out and wave. You look like a hero. Inside your head is a different story. Your brain just rattled against your skull. You have a mild concussion. You have had 6 mild concussions this year. Alone, you don't report them to the medic because if you have a documented head injury, the insurance company won't let you work. The next gag, you go back to your hotel room, you turn off the lights, you throw up in the bathroom sink, you lie in the dark with an ice pack on your neck, trying to stop the room from spinning. You do it all again on Thursday. Level 6, the actor double. You have the right height, the right build, and the right hair color. They hire you to be the dedicated stunt double for an A-list Hollywood star. You are no longer just a driver in a mask or a helmet. You are the star's physical shadow. You spend hours in the hair and makeup trailer. Every morning, they glue a custom-made wig to your head to match the actor's exact hairstyle. They apply prosthetic pieces to your nose or jaw if necessary. They put you in the exact same wardrobe, a tailored suit, a leather jacket, a t-shirt that costs $400. Your job is to make the actor look like a superhero while taking all the damage they are legally not allowed to take. You sit in your trailer, reading a script, while the actor shoots the dialogue scenes inside the air-conditioned studio. Then, the production moves to the exterior location. The actor comes out, takes a sip of his green juice, complains that the sun is too bright, gets in the car for a close-up shot of his face, turning the steering wheel. Then he gets out, walks to his luxury trailer, and goes to sleep. The stunt coordinator calls you up. They strap you into the car. The shot is a massive jump over a rising drawbridge. You are wearing the actor's tailored suit, which is incredibly restrictive and offers absolutely no padding. You do the jump, you nail the landing, the car bottoms out, shattering the suspension. Your spine absorbs the shock. You climb out limp, back to your trailer, and take off the wig. The movie comes out. A year later, you sit in the theater and watch the sequence. The editing cuts seamlessly from the actor's face to your body flying through the air. The audience gasps. The actor does the late-night talk show circuit. Jimmy Fallon asks him about the stunts. The actor smiles and says, "Yeah, we really wanted to keep it authentic. I did as much of the driving as they would let me. It was crazy." The audience applauds. The actor, you sit on your couch, drinking a beer, rubbing your lower back, listening to a millionaire take credit for the trauma in your joints. You don't get mad. You just cash the residual checks. Doubling is the best money in the business, but it is a masterclass in ego suppression. You are the invisible ghost who takes the hits, so the god on the screen can remain immortal. Level 7. The rigor and mechanic. Your body has taken too many hits. You are pushing 40. Your reaction time is still sharp, but you know you can't keep getting shot out of cannons forever. You pivot, you transition into the shop. You become a picture car mechanic and a stunt rigger. The cars you see on screen are illusions. A stock car off a dealership lot cannot do a movie stunt. It would flip over, or the computer would shut down the engine, or the airbags would deploy and break the driver's nose. Your job is to take a $80,000 sports car and tear it down to its bones. You strip out the ABS, you disable the traction control, you rip out the airbags, you install a hydraulic handbrake, known as a drift stick, that locks the rear wheels. Instantly, you weld in a full steel roll cage. You install fuel cells that won't explode when the car flips. You are an engineer of chaos. You spend weeks in a greasy garage covered in metal shavings and welding slag, building the machines that your friends will drive. You carry a completely different kind of stress now. When you were driving, your life was in your own hands. Now your best friends' lives are in your hands. You weld a roll cage for a major rollover gag. You lay the beads of weld. You double check the joints. You know that if you have a cold weld, if your penetration into the steel isn't deep enough, and that roof collapses during the stunt, a father of 3 is going to die in that seat. You don't sleep the night before the stunt. You stand on the set, watching the car you built speed toward the ramp. Your heart is in your throat. The car flips it, rolls, the cage holds. The driver crawls out. You exhale a breath. You feel like you've been holding for a month. You are making great money. The shop rate is high, and you are indispensable to the production. But your hands are permanently stained with grease. You have burn marks up your arms from the welding torch. You spend your days under chassis and inside engine bays listening to producers complain about how much it costs to build 5 identical cars. You explain to them that physics doesn't care about their budget. They don't care, they just want it cheaper. You build it safer. Anyway, level 8. The assistant stunt coordinator. You step away from the tools and the steering wheel. You become the assistant stunt coordinator. You are middle management. You are the bridge between the creative vision of the director and the harsh reality of logistics and budget. The director says, "I want a car to crash through a plate glass window, land on top of a bus, and explode." The stunt coordinator designs the action. Your job is to figure out how to actually make it happen and how to pay for it. You live in spreadsheets. You break down the script. You calculate how many stunt drivers you need for a sequence. You budget for the cars, modifications, the safety gear, the prep days, the rehearsal days. You go into meetings with line producers who look at your budget and laugh. They tell you to cut the budget by 30%. You try to explain that cutting the budget means cutting safety. You fight for your guys. You fight to get the extra ambulance on set. You fight to get the extra prep day so the drivers can rehearse the slide on wet pavement. You are the bad guy to the producers because you cost them money, and you are the bad guy to the stunt performers because you can't hire all of your friends. The politics of the stunt world are brutal. There are hundreds of drivers and only a few spots you hire. The guys you trust, the guys who won't panic, the guys who will hit their marks, but you also get phone calls from old buddies guys. You came up with guys whose bodies are broken, who haven't worked in months, begging for a day, playing a cop car. You know they are losing their edge. You know their reaction. Time is fading. You have to tell them no. You have to tell a guy who bled with you 10 years ago that you can't put him in a car because he's a liability. You hang up the phone and feel like garbage. You are trading your physical pain for emotional exhaustion. Level 9. The stunt coordinator and second unit director. You are the boss. You are the stunt coordinator, and often the second unit director. This means you aren't just designing the stunts, you are directing them. You have your own camera crew, your own schedule, your own set while the main director is filming the actors crying. In a bedroom, you are shutting down the 105 freeway to film a $10 million car chase. You are the general of a small army. You sit in a video village tent looking at 4 different camera monitors. You have 50 precision drivers, 12 core stunt drivers, 3 camera cars, and a helicopter, all waiting for your command. The pressure is astronomical. The studio is spending $400,000 a day on your unit. If you fall behind schedule, the studio executives in Burbank will be calling your cell phone. You design sequences using toy cars. On a folding table, you block out the moves. Car A hits the wall. Car B jumps the median. Car C drifts under the semi-truck. You brief the drivers. Your voice is calm. Your instructions are crystal clear. You don't yell. You project authority. You call action. You watch the monitors. The choreography plays out at 90 miles per hour. Metal crushes tires. Smoke fire erupts. It is chaotic, violent, and incredibly beautiful. It is exactly what you saw in your head. You call cut. The radios crackle. Everyone reports they are safe. You move to the next setup. You are at the absolute pinnacle of your profession. You make high 6 figures, maybe 7 figures on a massive franchise. You are respected by everyone on the crew, but you are invisible to the public. The movie premieres. It breaks box office records. Critics praise the incredible action sequences. They praise the director. They praise the actors. The Academy Awards hold their ceremony. They give Oscars for sound design, for makeup, for visual effects. For costumes, they do not have a category for stunts. They have never had a category for stunts. The people who literally put their lives on the line, who break their necks and shatter their femurs, make the movie exciting, are not recognized on the stage. You sit at home watching the broadcast. You know the truth. You know who actually made the movie. You accept that the ghost status is permanent. You pour a glass of expensive whiskey and go to sleep. Level 10, the retired ghost. You are 60 years old. You are retired. You had to retire your body. Simply refuse to cash any more checks. You have a titanium plate in your neck. You have fused vertebrae in your lower back. Your right knee is entirely artificial. You walk with a slight limp that gets worse when it rains. You live in a beautiful house ranch property outside the city, paid for by decades of hazard pay and residual checks. The money is there. The piece is harder to find. You have a garage full of classic cars. You restored yourself a 68 Charger, a 69 Mustang. You polish them, you tune them, you never drive them fast. Driving fast doesn't feel the same without a camera rolling, without a target, without the radio crackling in your ear. You watch modern action movies, and it breaks your heart a little bit. You see where the practical driving stops and the CGI takes over. You see the computer-generated cars doing things that defy physics, breaking the laws of gravity, flying through the air without weight or consequence. The audience loves it. They don't know the difference, but you know that a computer didn't risk its life to get that shot. You know the danger is gone, and with the danger, the soul of the stunt is gone. You feel like a dinosaur, a relic from an era of practical steel and burning rubber. The studios are slowly phasing out because hard drives don't file workers' comp claims. You have a wall in your den covered in framed photographs of you in your prime, standing next to burning cars, shaking hands with legends who are mostly dead now from heart attacks or cancer or accidents. Your grandkids come over. They look at the pictures. They think you are cool in a distant, abstract way. They don't really understand what you did. They ask you if you met Spider-Man. You smile and say yes. You sit in your leather chair, your joints aching, swallowing your morning handful of anti-inflammatories, and you think about it. You think about the beginning, the 14-hour days in a beat-up Ford Fusion, the taste of dirt in Palmdale, the heat of the Nomex suit, the absolute terror and ultimate perfection of sliding a car within inches of a lens. You traded your youth, your cartilage, your spine for a few seconds of anonymous glory on a silver screen. You wonder if it was worth it. You look at your scarred hands. You know you would do it all exactly the same way, again somewhere. Right now, a kid is pulling into a dirt lot in Burbank at 4:30 a.m. The sky is pitch black. The air smells like diesel exhaust. He's sitting in a beat-up Honda Civic. His hands are shaking on the steering wheel. He is looking at the massive white trailers and the stunt guys laughing by the catering truck. He doesn't know any of them. He doesn't know anything about the industry. He doesn't know about the concussions or the fused spines or the broken marriages or the politics or the fact that the Oscars will never say his name. He just knows he knows how to drive and he wants to be in the movies. He has no idea what this life will cost him, what it will break, or what it will build. They'll figure it out. They always do.